I'm Linda Shiflett, Superintendent of Hampton City Schools. And we're continuing our interviews with our 2012 valedictorians. And today it's my pleasure to be talking to Mia Knowles from Phoebus High School. Mia, tell us just a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Mia Knowles. I go to Phoebus High School. I participate in the Project Lead the Way program that's offered at Phoebus High School. We're pretty much a pre-engineering courses. So I've been doing that ever since my freshman year. I also took a few Japanese classes for 3 years online. I did a few virtual Virginia classes. So my interests are anime. I love going to the mall with my friends. I talk on the phone a lot, write a lot of stories. So typical stuff.
You know, some people may be looking at you right now and going, boy, she looks a little familiar. Weren't you on a billboard?
Yes, I was on a billboard my sophomore year. Actually, there was a big academy program being started up at Phoebus High School trying to make other students aware of the different academies that are offered at the various high schools. So Phoebus being the technology center of Hampton City Schools, I was on a billboard around LaSalle Avenue, so it was really exciting. It was.
Now you said something about Project Lead the Way. What is that all about?
Project Lead the Way is sort of an accumulation of 5 different pre-engineering courses that sort of give students the opportunity to really understand the different fields of engineering. So the first course is Introduction to Engineering, where you sort of get a broad spectrum of all the different types of engineering careers out there. There's Principles of Engineering, Digital Electronics, Computer Integrated Manufacturing, and finally Engineering Design and Development.
All right, so it sounds like maybe you might go into a career in engineering. Is that what you're thinking about?
It is highly likely. I'm hoping to attend Williams College in Williamstown, Massachusetts in the fall, where I will do a dual degree. I'll get East Asian Studies major and then go on to Columbia University to do computer engineering.
Now we noticed that shirt that you have on today, so that's a fairly new decision, correct?
Yes, I just decided yesterday when I was at the Williams previews that I would be attending Williams College. So I'm very excited. It was a beautiful campus.
Oh, great. Now what other colleges did you look at, and which ones have been actively pursuing you?
Well, I applied to a lot of colleges because I wanted to have as many opportunities and choices as possible. So I applied to Vassar College, which is in Poughkeepsie, New York, Virginia Tech, UVA, ODU, Wake Forest, Washington and Lee, Rice University, Emory University. Washington and Lee, Emory, Virginia Tech, UVA, Wake Forest, those were kind of like my top. Williams, Vassar, and Wake Forest were my top 3. So in the end, I did pick Williams. So that
All right,
was
so
exciting.
what was it about Williams that just kind of sold you?
Williams, the people there are they are beautiful people. They were very friendly. When I was walking around, they can obviously sort of tell. They call the admitted students that come, or the prospective students that come, pre-fresh. So when I was walking around campus, they'd be like, you must be a pre-fresh. And someone would come up to me and be like, hey, you want to come to classes with me? Like, they were really friendly. All of the professors I spoke to were just like really animated. They really enjoyed teaching what they teach. And Williams also had that dual program with Columbia University. So because I do have 2 very distinctively different interests, which is East Asian Studies, sort of Japanese and Chinese, and then computer engineering. I really like the fact that I would be able to get both majors and not have to go, to 5 different universities.
That's great. Now, you've had quite a year. So you want to tell us about some of the most memorable things that have happened to you this year?
Well, this year I am finishing up my 2-year commitment to the Governor's School for Science and Technology on the Thomas Nelson Community College campus. I started that my junior year, so this year it's sort of wrapping up, and so I've been spending countless hours on my mentorship with Ms. Cheryl Ashley, who is a part of the Hampton City Schools Technology IL department. And so I've been putting a lot of time and effort into my mentorship with her. Also, big thing, obviously, looking into colleges has been a big part of my life, but also just trying to really enjoy my senior year with my friends. So getting ready for prom soon and getting ready for graduation.
I understand also that you are a finalist for the Gates Millennium Scholarship.
Yes, I found out about a month ago that I am a finalist for the Gates Millennium Scholarship, so that's pretty exciting, following in the footsteps of Chris Russ, who got it 2 years ago.
Also from Phoebus.
Also from Phoebus, so, you know, Phantom's got to represent.
That's right. So for those that may not be aware of what this scholarship will do for you, why don't you tell them about it, because it is significant.
Yes, the Bill Gates Millennium Scholarship is founded by Bill and Linda Gates. They both pretty much contribute their funds to low-income and minority students who are pursuing math, science, and engineering fields, and they pretty much pay for your college tuition, study abroad programs, anything you would need for college, all the way through graduate school. So they'll pretty much pay all the way up to your doctorates. It's wonderful.
It's awesome. You know, as a parent who had to pay for the college expenses for 2 children, I can imagine your mother is so excited about this.
Yeah, she is ecstatic. So she bought me an SUV as a graduation gift, and also just redid my room. So I'm very grateful for that. And she was like, hey, it's definitely cheaper than paying for college. So I was very appreciative of it, and I am more than honored to be a finalist.
Well, we're so happy for you. Now, you've talked about quite a few things that you've been doing. Are there any other extracurricular or maybe co-curricular activities that you're involved in?
I take part in the National Honor Society, so I'm president of that. So we do a lot of community service, Relay for Life. We did a cancer drive. We've done a few bake sales. And that's a lot of community service, not just inside of school, but outside of school. So I do a lot of tutoring. A lot of us get together and help some of the underclassmen at our school, you know, math, science, history, basic SOL courses, Math Honor Society. I also started and founded the anime club at Phoebus High School because I'm very into anime. So I take the participants of Anime Club to anime conventions that are in the area, so we dress up and it's great.
I was going to ask you about your hobbies, so tell me about them.
Anime is probably my #1 hobby. If for anyone who doesn't know what anime is, it's Japanese cartoons, so anyone who's ever watched like Sailor Moon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, a lot of those things are animes, and so I'm really into those. And we read manga, which are Japanese comic books, so they're read backwards. And you read from left to right instead of right to, we read right to left instead of left to right. And I dress up and wear costumes. So it's kind of an expensive hobby, but it's really fun. You really learn a lot about the Japanese culture. So that actually influenced my desire to go into East Asian studies. So.
I was going to ask you about that. And so by the combination of the two, what do you want to do when you grow up?
So I'm hoping, I have sort of like a couple plans. I have one where I'll probably go into Sony and I'll program for them, and that way I'll be able to travel to Japan and do a lot of things with Sony, because Sony was also founded by a Japanese businessman. Canon as well, Japanese oriented. And then sort of like my #1 plan is hopefully I'll be able to become an engineer, a computer engineer at Disney Tokyo. So I'll be able to go live in Tokyo and work on the roller coasters and rides and be able to communicate there and be able to program the rides and video games and stuff. So hoping for Disney Tokyo.
All right, now you said you've taken Japanese for how long?
I took Japanese for 3 years on an online course offered at Phoebus High School. It was through Henrico County, so also Virtual Virginia offers it in Japanese as well.
So how fluent are you at this point?
Well, I took it my freshman through my junior year, so I took sort of my senior year off because I didn't quite have enough blocks to actually take it again for the 4th year. But when I went up to Williams, I kind of brushed myself back up, so I think I'm pretty fluent.
Great. Now, you have really had a remarkable school career, and you have so many exciting things ahead of you.
Yes.
Is there anybody that's been a role model or a mentor to you?
Well, actually, back in middle school, I really bonded and connected with my chorus teacher, Miss Wanda Mitchell. Hi, Miss Mitchell. She has been an inspiration to me since day one. I'm not going into music, but she has always sort of been like, you can do whatever you want to do. She's always sort of incorporated music into my life. I really do love music. I play 7 instruments. So she's always sort of been there pushing me from behind and always saying that I could do whatever I really wanted to do. She's always been that backbone, sort of like my secondary mother when my own mother can't, you know, she can't be at school 24/7, but Miss Mitchell has always been there to support me and love me in every possible way. So I am more than appreciative of her. So I know sometimes she's the one who really kept me coming back to school and like just the really tough days. So.
Well, you know, I can't imagine how thrilled she's going to be when she sees this interview and hears that. Mia, I want to wish you the best. You have a remarkable background and going to Williams College
Yes.
now. So we all absolutely wish you the very best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us, and I hope you'll be with us later when we interview TJ Stokes, the valedictorian from Kecoughtan High School.
Take out the rubbish, scrub down the floor. My aching joints don't jump no more. Stumble up the stairway, shuffle down the hall. These aching joints are sore. Joints don't jump no more. My joints don't jump no more.
A message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons. Visit orthoinfo.org.
The joints ain't sore no more. I still got it.
America is turning over a new leaf, the Smart Way leaf. Smart Way from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency is changing the way America drives. Look for the Smart Way leaf to help you identify environmentally friendlier cars and trucks. Smart Way certified cars and trucks are more fuel efficient, produce fewer greenhouse gases, and can save you money. And when you're helping the environment, it's a nice reflection on you. Smart Way, because it's time America turned over a new leaf. Follow the leaf. Go to www.epa.gov/smartway.
Welcome back. I'm Linda Shiflett, Superintendent of Hampton City Schools, and my guest today is Terry Stokes, also known as TJ, who's the valedictorian of Kecoughtan High School. It's good to see you again, TJ.
It's good to see you too. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, let me say, I heard something about you that you recently had a visit somewhere. Where have you gone?
Yes, last week I had the opportunity to go to Admitted Students Days at Yale, and after visiting there, I was mightily impressed. So when I came back home, that was my final decision. I'm going to be going there this fall.
That is absolutely wonderful. So you will be going to Yale in the fall. What other schools did you look at during your process of looking at schools for consideration?
Washington and Lee University in Lexington was one of the biggest ones for me. UVA, UNC Chapel Hill, Duke, Stanford. I applied there because I was born there, so I thought that would be cool to see if that worked out or not. But Yale was the one that just really drew it home for me, and I really felt I fit in the most.
So what was it in particular that made you decide on Yale?
Well, I really liked the area of New Haven. I think that because the campus of Yale is so integrated within the city, it leaves a lot of opportunity for me to involve myself in more than just the college life, but also the vibrant city of New Haven. And there's so many different opportunities there for service and for working and for learning. And so I really liked the area. And I also was really impressed by the people at Yale and how they were very strong academically, but also strong in their musical talents or their other extracurricular activities, whether that be dance or whatever. So I was really impressed by the community as well.
Well, I remember not too long ago, I was over at Kecoughtan High School for an art show, and you were there performing.
Oh, yes.
So tell us a little bit about the CD that you produced.
Well, that was one of the biggest dreams that I had in high school, was to be able to record an album of original songs that I had written. And I was inspired by being able to participate in Tropical Jam, which is the band that my friends and I started back in 8th grade. And so as we were beginning to develop our own style and write our own songs, I kind of wanted to take the instruments that I played and the songs that I was writing on my own and create an album. And so this past summer I had the opportunity to do that at the Teen Center, and it was really nice. John Terrell made it really easy. He was the sound guy that was recording everything, and I was able to go online and do a service that created discs and the jewel cases for everything, so it all worked out really well. And then I had the opportunity to donate the proceeds from the sales to a charity that builds orphanages in Children's Village in Haiti. So I was able to take my talents and hopefully create other opportunities for them to use their talents to bless others in the future.
Well, I understand you've done some mission work. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, ma'am. I first had the opportunity to go to New Mexico back in 8th grade, and that was really cool experience. We were working on the reservation there, and we conducted a basketball camp for some of the kids, and we did some other activities with them. And that was just really cool to be introduced to a new culture and new ways of thinking and new ways of life. I was deeply impacted by that. And then spring break of last year, I had the opportunity to go to the Dominican Republic. And that was what really set in motion the path that I'm on now to hopefully be a pastor in Latin America. As I was there, and I was blown away by how open they were with their time and with their relationships, and just the relationships that we were able to build with the people there are still going on today. And it was just really cool how God was able to work through us, and we were able to really impact their lives.
That's wonderful. Now, I know your next step is Yale. So what are you thinking about majoring in, and then what are your next steps after that?
I'll hopefully be majoring in Latin American Studies, so I can hopefully build a better foundation of Spanish, as well as an understanding of the culture that I'll be hopefully living in. And hopefully I'll be able to go on to physical therapy school after that. So I'll be majoring in Latin American Studies, but hopefully taking a lot of science classes that will help me to be able to go into physical therapy school right after undergraduate. And that way, I'll be able to have a practical skill that I can practice while waiting for the right opportunity to go to Latin America, and not just have to take hold of the first opportunity that comes to work at a church. And then also be able to support a family, because a church in Latin America may not be able to support a pastor and his family full time. So that was something that my mom encouraged me to look into, that I was really excited about. And then I had the opportunity to observe with Dr. Timothy Marinelli at CHKD in Newport News this past fall. And when I was observing him and seeing how cool it was for him to develop relationships with patients on a personal level, but also have so much knowledge about how the body works, I was really impressed, and I think that's something that I would definitely like to do.
Well, TJ, it really sounds like you have many things very well thought out. Has there been anybody that's been a mentor to you, or somebody that's really provided direction to you in your life? Yes, my parents definitely have been a catalyst for
all of the pursuits that I have been able to involve myself in. My dad has really taught me a lot about integrity and perseverance in circumstances that a lot of other people would maybe quit or just, close in the shell and not still have the joy and the peace that comes from a life of integrity. And I've been really impressed by just how many sacrifices he makes on a daily basis for me and my family. And also my student pastors, John Paul and Ben at Liberty, they have poured into my life over the past 6 years or so and really taught me what it is to be a strong man who cares about others and who takes time out of their life to really speak into others' lives and to make sure that people are on the right track spiritually and in all walks of life. So I've really learned a lot from them as well.
Oh, great. Sounds like you're a busy young man, but what about hobbies or things that you might do in your spare time? What might that be?
Well, music is definitely the biggest passion that I have. I spend a lot of time writing, composing, practicing. I just started playing guitar, so that's been fun these past couple months, learning guitar. Apart from music, I would say reading. I love historical fiction, actually, so Gilbert Morris is one of my favorite authors, and he writes books from England, like historical ages in England, parts of America's history, so it's been kind of cool to enjoy fiction, but at the same time learn about history through his books. And I guess just recreational sports have been one of my hobbies as well, playing basketball with my friends and baseball, soccer, so that's been a cool thing to do on the side as well.
Well, I bet your senior year has really kind of been fast and furious. What's been some of the most memorable things about this year for you?
I would say just kind of realizing that it's all coming to an end, this chapter of my life, and being able to take that and realize that I need to savor every moment. And so things like playing at the Kecoughtan Arts Gallery back in the fall and enjoying the art of my fellow students and being able to perform music for them, that's been really cool. And participating in Tropical Jam, we had our biggest show of our career at the beginning of the school year at the Back to School Bash in Hampton at Mill Point Park. So that was a really fun experience to be able to play for a large audience and to see other youth bands that had come up in the area over the last couple of months. And also seeing where all of my friends and my peers are going to college has been really cool, and see how they've planned out their futures and how successful they're being, so that's been cool as well.
Now, I understand you have an older sister, and she's a third year at UVA. Has she given you any advice?
Yes. She has encouraged me to make sure that I am sitting down and writing out a budget for how I'm going to pay for groceries and all those miscellaneous things that you don't necessarily think about when you look at your financial aid package. She's also encouraged me to get involved in service and a community that has like-minded goals for me. She has really enjoyed her sorority at UVA and living in that sorority house for the past couple of years. So she's encouraged me to do something similar to that, whether that be a fraternity or just a campus fellowship or something like that.
That's great. Now, what will be your legacy at Kecoughtan High School? What kind of advice would you leave for young people?
I would say it's really important to realize that your efforts right now in high school are not as intangible as they seem right now. They will come back to you in hard benefits, whether that be a scholarship, whether that be a great college experience that you wouldn't have had otherwise, whether that be putting yourself in a work situation where you meet your future spouse or your future friends that are going to be there for your whole life. So trying hard in your classes and giving your all to how you're involved in school is really going to pay off, and it's not going to just be this vague sense of I'm doing the right thing. It's really going to come back to you in tangible benefits. And also I would say to really try to relate what you're learning in class to the real world, and try to see how your personality and how your talents and abilities relate to what you're learning in class, because I think when I was able to start to enjoy what I was learning in class, especially in the social sciences, I am very much a people person, so studying people and how they've interacted over the years has really been my favorite subject. When I started to really enjoy what I was learning was when I really started to excel more than I had in the past. And I think when you enjoy what you do, you're more likely to be successful in it.
Well, TJ, those are great words of wisdom for our young people still in our schools. You have a remarkable voyage ahead of you, and I wish you the best. And keep in touch now. We want to know how you're doing.
Okay. Thank you.
That concludes our interviews with all of our valedictorians for 2012. As you can see, we have some truly remarkable young people in Hampton City Schools. Thank you for joining us.